everybody. Welcome back to Inside the Musical Mind. And today I welcome the one and only Liam Horne. How are you doing, Liam?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks so much. It's good to have you. Um, so I gotta say, I've watched some of your older interviews and stuff over the years. And besides the music, one thing that really stands out to me about you uh, is your determination and positive attitude. Where does that come from?
That's my Scottishness, It's the brave heart in me. The the William Wallace.
Hey, I like
No.
that. My middle name's Crawford. I'm Scottish too. So
So you know exactly where it comes from. But for real, my parents, my mom and dad are very positive people, and I'm surrounded by positivity all the time. And I was very lucky to grow up with great parents who said, hey, listen, sometimes you have falls, but it's how you handle the falls that what matters.
yeah,
So it's just you have to be positive.
and
But thank you for noticing.
yeah, well, you're in a challenging industry, so
I know this.
yeah. So you've got a lot of stuff going on. You've got "All on Me" is the newest single, and recently you've had "Loose" and "Bartender" released. I
Yep.
see they're getting a lot of views on YouTube. How's everything going so far?
Everything's going amazing. All of me is, yep, that's my third release so far. I did it with Robin Thicke and my manager slash producer Rich Skills. It's going great. I think we're somewhere between, it's the fifth day now, and we're like 64K, 63K on YouTube. Um, which is crazy because that's a lot better than Bartender did up until this point too. So the response has just been overwhelming and surreal, and I've been just happy and super excited. So everything thankfully is going great.
I don't want to jinx it, but I looked earlier and I think "All on Me" is a lot higher than 64K now.
Oh, well then
I don't want to mess. I don't want to jinx anything.
that's even better. Well, no, that please, if it's jinxing it higher, then please do.
Right. I want to ask you about that. You co-wrote it with Robin Thicke and Rich Skills. Um, when you co-wrote that, or when you co-write in general, like how does that play out? Like on that song specifically, like are you coming up with the melody or the lyrics or a chord progression, or who's coming up with what? Because it's different in every situation.
It really is. So a little backstory to give context. Robin and I worked together for many years. Rich Skills, my manager, I've been with for 10 years now, coming up for 10 years this month. And Robin and Rich go back longer than that. So Robin's been involved with a lot of projects of mine over the years, just as a mentor, a guide. Um, and we've that's one song of many we've done, and they've all come across different ways. I have a song that Robin did where he had written it with me in mind, and the melody and everything was there because Rich and Robin got in a room together and said, hey, let's just try something for Liam. um and there was maybe just like a last bridge or something missing from me. He was like, well, I just don't know what to put here, and he'll bring that to me and I'll just put in a bridge. Other times I'll have a full song written and I'll bring it to Robin. He'll adjust and say, hey, I think this lyric would be better here, or I think this would be better here. you
Mm-hmm.
know um it all happens different. With All on Me, that was Robin and Rich working for just a night, just working for just fun, making a song, making a beat in the studio. Robin was writing, and they said, "Hey, we think this would be great for Liam." Called me up. I went over to the studio, and there was some melodies. There was no lyrics, just a couple melodies in. I went into the studio booth and I did my melodies, and we just picked the best melodies between mine and Robin's, structured out the verse, structured out the chorus, and I got to write my lyrics. And Robin, luckily, when he does scat melodies, he'll say phrases and say songs. So he said some really cool shit that we could keep for the chorus, and we just wrote the verses out. So that was just a complete jewel um effort. But sometimes, he'll bring me complete songs or half finished, and it just depends.
Yeah, yeah, okay, that's cool. what I like about it is you seem to take pretty good vocal chances. Like you've had a different, slightly style of delivery, like loose compared to this. You know, you don't stick to one thing. Do you go into it like when you're writing it? Are you envisioning like I might want to approach it this way, or is it once the melody's set, then do you sort of experiment with different deliveries?
No, it's so when I start writing a song, I finish it. It's not like I carry on, so I go into it and the tone of the night's already set when I go into the studio or I'm writing here at home, already I start with the melody on keyboard or I start playing the song guitar. And if it's like moody chords, my lyrics and my melodies tend to be moody and I
Right.
already feel where it's going when I start writing. And it really depends on where I'm at in the day, or how I'm feeling. Which I normally am feeling sappy and I have a lot of love songs. But recently I've been feeling a little cool, and that's where the all of me's and loose comes from,
Right.
If I got my beard in, so I was like, let me make some adult songs.
Right. Yeah, you're not like me yet, where my beard's all gray now. Um, but talk about writing. When you were young, you wrote a song that Justin Bieber recorded,
Yeah,
"Out of Town Girl." When I hear that song, I wonder what it was like for you. Was that the first time you heard one of your songs fully produced? Because when you wrote it, were you picturing those bubbling keyboards and stuff, or were you kind of more like writing it as on an acoustic guitar with chords? Because it doesn't sound like it sounds like it went through a big evolution.
of course. Well, that's first of all, brilliant question. Basically it's like this. When I was I believe 15, turning 16 when I wrote that song for Justin, I had a very different capability than I do now.
Sure.
I wasn't out here making my own tracks and making my own beats and playing everything. I would just fresh learning guitar, and I was lucky enough to work with amazing producers who would make the song, make the tracks, and I would just get to write. Um, and when with that track in general, I worked with a producer named Sounds, who came to me with the instrumental track ready done, and we worked together in the studio. I wrote out the lyrics of the song, and it was intentionally for myself. It was a track made and a song made for me to have
Sure.
and for me to sing. And Sounds worked with Justin, and he played him the song. And Justin was like, "Wow, I love this. Can I have it?" And me being a nobody and fresh off the plane from Scotland, they were like, "We're asking you, but we're kind of going to take your song and give it to him. Here's your writing credits."
Right.
So I got to work with him and I got to meet him. We got to get the song done, and that threw me into the deep end of the songwriting world. I you know
Sure.
I signed to ASCAP. I got my publishing deal, and I got to work writing because I live in LA. It's expensive out here, and I know making money off music is hard enough as it is. So I was just lucky to do that in any way. And songwriting really was a big tool for me to do that. And I was
Sure.
lucky enough that,
It's gonna be hard to live off Spotify streams.
it really is. And kudos to the people who do it, but not a lot of people understand those people to get there had to do the side jobs, had to do the other things to even have time to do their music to post it, So it's
Right.
it's a very impressive thing when you get to that level.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, and that's a great credit to have, and for a songwriting credit to have early on in your career.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
wasn't
big
gonna say
name.
no. And he was established. I wanted to be an artist myself. I've always wanted to be a singer. I wasn't locked into being a songwriter. Justin Bieber was out. I knew I would walk in to get a ice cream at a store, and because I was young, kind of looking and had brown hair, Justin Bieber, Justin Bieber, I was getting it. Little did they know I'd already written for the kid. So my intention was, it kind of sounds kind of competitionish to say, but I love Justin. He's a great kid, but for me it was, I knew I was going to go through the Bieber as an artist. I couldn't pass that blockade because he was Justin Bieber. He just
Sure.
fresh. He had 10 to 13-year-olds screaming and fainting for him before I was even established, or even was known to 5 people. So I wasn't going to take that head on. So what I thought, maybe I can write a song for him
Totally.
and go around. So rather than be like, hey, I'm not Justin Bieber, I'm writing for Justin Bieber. I'm bye.
No, it's smart, really smart.
And that's how I looped it in, and it really that led me to being like, hold on, these people aren't competition. They're friends who I can play with.
Right.
They're player two and player one and player three.
Right.
It's not I have to beat these guys. I have to steal it. It's like the more I can collab with these people, the better and the more fun it is for me.
And nowadays, with the way it's so easy to collaborate, it's not like the old days where you have to go meet somebody in a studio to work on a song. You can just send email tracks and bounce ideas back and forth. There's no reason not to collaborate with people.
Exactly. Especially when there's so many, like we now have access to see the talent in other countries. We can go on and find amazing talent and see what's in India, see what's in Scotland, see what's in Australia, see what's in
Right.
England, see what's in America, see what's in Canada. We can
Right.
see that and reach out, It's the world's never been so connected
Right.
as it is now. So it would be crazy not to utilize that, not even just in music, in anything you do. We're all humans here together. Reach out and spend time with other humans and see what we're all about.
Totally. That's what I've always said. There'll never be another Beatles. And part of the reason why is because in 1964, my father could only go to the local record store and look under B, and there's going to be 5 bands, and the Beatles is one of them. He couldn't look up a metal band in Norway. He
Yep.
had nobody had any access to that. Because now you can just find whatever you want, and everybody's got. So it's harder to make money, but the gatekeepers are gone. A lot of it.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to explain it. That's
You
the
know.
perfect way to explain it.
I want to ask about your videos. You got some really good videos out. Well done. Now, I know a lot of, and you don't have to get into specifics if you don't want, but a lot of record deals now are distribution deals where basically like, you make the album, you put up all the money and do it, and then they'll distribute it for it and do and get it out there. But is your label have anything to do with the videos you're making, or is that all your management team and you? Are they
That's
completely separate or are they involved?
so I actually have some news on this. So I signed a record deal with Capitol Records, and I have an album made, and they owned the album while it was signed. So I couldn't release anything, and there was really nothing happening for me over there. I was dealing with making some album stuff. Time went by, and everyone in house who signed me left the label. So I was just like being kind of shelved, and it turned into a hip hop label.
Yeah, yeah.
Capitol Record, I was signed by Ashley Newton. I met Ashley. We sat in the top floor. He signed me in the room, and I played guitar for him. He was all about it. He was a classic label, one of the last classic label owners. Jeff Vaughn took over for Ashley at Capitol Records, and Jeff is also a great music mogul and executive and label owner, but he's just hip hop. He thinks Lil Uzi is God's gift to the world.
Right.
So just a different home. And I was lucky enough that my managers and we decided to terminate the deal with Capitol, but Capitol told me, okay, we believe in this album though, and we do think that once you leave us, you're going to take it and go do something with it, and we believe it will happen. So we're not willing to just let it go. We want 8% on your album.
Okay.
So they have their 8% on the songs that I'm releasing now. Once this only the songs I delivered to them. But I terminated my deal, and I'm fully independent now. And I have I have two managers, Rob Cavallo and Rich Skills, and a third partner called Rick Margolis. He's an amazing man. He's basically my adoptive father out here. Um, he's a company owner. He owns Columbus, Pacific, Ohio. Just a real estate guy who loves me, and his son is my brother. We basically known each other years and years and years, and
Okay.
Christmas and Thanksgiving and birthdays with him. So he came into the picture, and he goes, "Listen, I've known you a good amount of years, and the past 3 years, your career sat still, and nothing's happening. Like, what's going on? Is it a budget thing? Is it this? Is it that? I want to meet your management." So he met my management. Everything went great. They loved each other. They teamed up. He goes, "Look, I'm behind Liam. There's no budget border anymore. Gates wide open. Whatever we need to do to make this happen, let's make it happen." We called up my videographer who I did Loose with years ago, and he was like, "Oh, I love Liam. I'll be more than happy to come back and start working and get this ball rolling again." We flew him out, and he shot 3 videos we did. Bartender, we did All on Me, and another one, Easy, that's I'm waiting to come back edited now. But it wasn't until he came in, he was like, let's start going. I'll put the big budgets behind the videos. We'll promote. We'll do the target audiencing. We'll do everything. And my management team are incredible. Rich was like, I know exactly what needs to be done. If you're in the team and ready to go, let's make it happen. And now I have videos coming every month.
Awesome. Yeah. They,
It's all
do you think albums are dead? Are you, I mean, are you concerned with the album as a package? Or are you more worried about, I just need to get the singles out there?
For now, I'm concerned about the singles. Not because I think albums are dead. I'm concerned about singles only because Liam Horne, as an artist, has 4 songs in the world, and it's not good. It's not great for audiences. It's not fair for them. I want to have at least 30 out.
Sure.
So I'm writing to release. I'm not hoarding and keeping an album worth. Um, Now once I get those out, that's a different story. I will come with an album. I don't believe albums are dead. What I do believe is changing is no one wants 21 song albums anymore, 20
Right.
songs. Maybe 12, 11, 10 songs in an album. Great. And I think that's what a lot more people are doing nowadays too,
Yeah.
It's even in the rap industry, a lot of these rappers will drop their album to have 10 songs plus 2 deluxe pluses, and
Right.
that's more than enough. I think that's the way to go. No longer 20, 21 albums.
I think there's a value to making an album, but almost I think half of the value is probably just a sense of accomplishment for the artist.
Yeah.
And just be like, look what I've done. But as far as the buying public, I'm not sure how much more value because they're not physically buying it.
It
And
depends on how deep they're in. Like an Adele will sell, and then her fans think that she's giving them a whole subliminal message through the album. They think that track 2 lines up with track 8, so they'll sit and listen to the whole thing. When you get to that level, die-hard fans, you can
Sure.
release an album and they will listen, and you will win Grammy of the Year, Album of the Year Grammys. You will, but you have to get to that level. As a new up-and-coming artist, you're absolutely right. Just, it's hard to get that attention in and that dedication in.
Right. Yeah, because I think if you're a newer artist, if you drop an album, in 3 months, that album's old news. Where if you have 10 songs and you release a new song every 2 months, you've got 20 months of fresh material coming out to keep people engaged.
Exactly. And it's almost like if you have to be far back from the dartboard, throw all your darts. Why throw one? Just throw them all and hope one hits.
Right.
And then none of them do, throw another 10. And then another 10.
Right.
That's key. Consistency is key.
Right. That's why I just got to keep writing. Do you tend to write on guitar or keys more?
Guitar. I'm a guitar player. I can play keys. I play keys very well, but I'm a guitar player through and through. I've dedicated a lot of time to my guitar, so that's where it comes naturally to me when I want to write. I just actually pick up my guitar and go. But I love writing too. I love producers too. I love getting tracks sent to me. I love going and hearing tracks in studios. I love writing to tracks, but when I write, it's pen and paper and my guitar. That's exactly how I write.
When this is a personal question, when you're writing something and you've demoed it, do you get demo-itis? Like if you perform something a certain way, do you get so used to hearing that way that it's hard for you to change an idea? If the producer or somebody else is like, hey, this might sound better if you go in this direction, or you change this bridge, but you've been listening to it that way for weeks. And you're like, oh, I'm so used to this. Does that bother you, or are you willing to wipe it clean and change the stuff up?
I'm willing to change stuff up if it makes sense. Before I'm willing to change, I'm willing to listen. I'm not a closed door. I won't just shoot someone's, because I only got here through someone listening to my ideas. Someone saying, hey, I think it's a great idea. Come on. So I try not to shut other people's ideas down, especially in music. So when it comes to writing and working with other people, I like to be open to their ideas. And hey, if it makes the song better and adds to it, thank you, and let's keep going. Let's keep going. But I'm also brutally honest, and I'm very protective of my music. Like it's my livelihood. I only do music, so I'll tell. I don't like that idea,
Sure.
Try something else. But me saying I don't like that is not me saying stop giving me ideas. I'll never
Sure.
shut you down, and I love collaborating and working with other people.
And the
And
beauty of it is somebody can come up with the simplest little thing that's perfect, but you would never, it would never occur to you.
yeah, now that would piss me off. I mean, if I wrote the whole song and someone said, "Hey, here's a second," and that's what got the attention, that's
Right.
what blew the song up, I'd be a little butthurt, but I would accept it, and I'd be
Yeah.
great.
I've always wondered about that. You have like bigger bands in the past where like you have a lead singer and then like the bass player will sing lead for one song and that'll be like their number one hit. And that singer's gonna be like, fuck.
Yeah, exactly right, exactly
Yeah.
right. It's the funniest thing. But no, I secretly like it. I like because for someone to give an opinion, it means they care first and foremost. You
Good
know,
point.
means that they care about whatever it is going on. Whether they care for the right reasons is a different question, but it means they care, so that's on you to figure out why they care and if you want to accept it or not.
No, that's a really good point. I've got a best friend who I will bounce my music off of. And sometimes it'll annoy me, be like, oh, I don't like, you should, that's not working right. And sometimes it'll irritate me for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, I've got somebody who's willing to listen to it and give constructive criticism. And a lot of times he's right. So you have to value
I'll
that.
tell you as a musician, I'll tell you as a musician too, from me to you, if I have it and you have it, we all probably get that, because as soon as someone says to me, "Oh, well, that's not," I was like, "I thought it was great. I mean,
Yeah.
and let me hear your music," And then 5 minutes later, I'm like, "Oh, my ego's in the way. Let me deflate the ego."
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any tour plans or is
I
it, do you need
do.
to get more material out or what's the deal?
I have a college tour being lined up right now. States are still being lined up and picked, but I know Ohio State, Texas State, California. We're planning that for. It's really going into kicking plan September and looking to kick off start of 2024.
Cool.
Right now, I have my residency at Sagebrush Cantina in Calabasas, Los Angeles, that I perform the last Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
I have my booking agent. They're booking me a bunch of shows here in Los Angeles and Hollywood area, the Valley. I'm gonna be all over Los Angeles doing shows until the tour. So
Cool.
mini local tour.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for you because you have an interview like from like a year ago or so, and you were saying like there's a couple possibilities I could open for somebody, I could do this, or you're like, but I hope I can do a college tour. So it sounds like that came through.
They
So
really did. It did. You gotta put stuff onto the universe. You gotta manifest.
right. Oh, cool. So what's the best place for those who aren't familiar with the best ways to get a hold of you? Like maybe somebody stumbled on you through Twitter or Instagram. What's the best social media, YouTube, whatever, to get a hold of you and keep up with what's new?
Well, the best to keep up with what's new is obviously Instagram. That's where I post my flyers for my events. That's where I post
Okay.
everything. But I'm also very active on YouTube. I reply to all my comments on YouTube if I can. I sit there, I get on, and I enjoy to communicate and get feedback. And, you can reach me basically YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And it's my name, Liam Horne, LiamHorne. Basically, every single website is my real name, so you can find it. If you just type it on Google, you'll see me. But Instagram and YouTube is my top two.
Okay. Those are the two main ones. Gotcha. Well, cool, man. Well, I certainly appreciate it. And it's cool talking to you. And you've got looks like a bright future ahead of you. And I love the
Thank you
determination
so
and the positivity, man. You've got a good thing
Thank you
going.
so much. Thank you so much. And hopefully, one of these days, you can come to a show and we can do this in person again.
Or if you get up to the East Coast, I'm in Philly. So
Well, if that's on my tour list, I'll make sure you know.
give me a shout. I'll be there, man.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, bro.
All right, you have a good one.
You too. Later on.